This is the 11th and 12th Medieval History in the Voice of Magister Corbin Harteloch. Let us begin with Cluny, a monastery that pretends to be humble while towering over half of Europe. Founded in 910 in a quiet Burgundian valley, it grew into something far larger than its founders could have imagined. I have walked its cloisters in my own day, and even in decline they whisper of an age when prayer itself seemed to bend the world. Cluny owes its birth to William the Pious, Duke of Aquitaine, a man who, for reasons known only to God and perhaps his confessor, granted the abbey freedom from all earthly lords, answerable only to Rome. A dangerous privilege, if you ask me, but it allowed Cluny to flourish without some count's nephew demanding a prebend or a warm bed. Independence is a rare gift in my century, and rarer still in the 10th. The monks of Cluny embraced the rule of Saint Benedict with a zeal that would exhaust lesser men. Hours upon hours of prayer, elaborate liturgy, and a communal life so disciplined that even the bells seemed afraid to ring out of turn. Their abbots, Odo, Maiolus, Odilo, Hugh, were giants, the sort of men who could command kings with a raised eyebrow. Under them, Cluny became the mother house of hundreds of priories, a monastic empire, if one dares to use such a phrase. Cluny's influence reached far beyond its cloister. Hildebrand of Sovana, later Pope Gregory VII, found refuge there. Urban II served as prior before calling the First Crusade. Calixtus II was elected pope at Cluny itself, after poor Gelasius II died within its walls. Even Bernard of Clairvaux, though he preferred the austerity of the Cistercians, would not escape Cluny's orbit. When a monastery becomes a stage for popes, reformers, and the occasional anti-pope, one begins to suspect that God has a sense of irony. Cluny produced prelates the way vineyards produce grapes. Archbishops of Leon, Rouen, Reims, Toledo, all shaped by its discipline. Bishops of Auxerre, Verdun, Toulouse, Toul passed through its schools. Cardinals such as Henry of Marcy and Alberic of Ostia carried its ideals into the wider church. Even Siegfried of Mainz, who merely stopped there, left transformed. A bishop educated at Cluny is seldom quiet and never content with mediocrity. Do not imagine Cluny as a place untouched by worldly affairs. Counts sought burial within its walls, hoping proximity to monks might shorten their time in purgatory. Princes became monks, and monks became princes of the church. When Pons of Melguet seized the abbey, popes and kings intervened. Cluny stood at the crossroads of sanctity and politics, and neither sphere left it unscathed. Even monks cannot escape the ambitions of men. At its height, Cluny was the wealthiest monastery in Christendom. Its third church, Cluny III, was so vast that travelers mistook it for a cathedral. Pilgrims on the road to Compostela paused there. Reformers gathered there. Councils met there. Its influence shaped the investiture controversy, the Crusades, and the very idea of ecclesiastical independence. Greatness invites reverence, yes, but also resentment, and Cluny had its share of both. By my century, Cluny's glory has dimmed. Its estates have dwindled, its authority challenged by the Cistercians, the Carthusians, and the Mendicants, all of whom claim to be more faithful to the rule. Yet its liturgy remains splendid, its name revered. Even in decline, Cluny commands respect. Decline is not disgrace. It is merely the fate of all earthly institutions, even those built on prayer. You future folk tell me that Cluny will suffer grievously in centuries to come. Stripped bare in the French Revolution, its stones sold for building material, its great church reduced to fragments. I confess this pains me, yet even ruins speak. They remind us that human grandeur, no matter how pious, is fragile. But the memory of Cluny, its reform, its liturgy, its influence, endures beyond stone. Cluny lay in the heart of medieval Burgundy, a crossroads of pilgrimage routes and princely domains. Today the region is quieter, its political borders transformed, but the abbey's position remains unmistakable, a hinge between north and south, France and empire, past and present.